Welcome to SIRA MCQ YouTube channel. Today we discuss advanced level A-level accounting paper 2024 question number, which one? Question number 40. This is theory part. What is the requirement? Look here. Complete the following statements as per conceptual framework. Look here. Complete the following statement. There are three statements. There are blanks there. Statements as per the conceptual framework for financial reporting 2018. Look here, first one. Equity is, there is a definition of equity. Equity is blank. Interest in assets of equity, asset of entity after deducting all its liabilities. Look here. What is the equation, counting equation? No, you know, assets equal equity plus liabilities. How can we find the equity? Therefore I carried this liability this side. Assets minus liabilities equal to equity. Okay, this is the equity identification. How can we identify assets minus liabilities? Okay, let's see. They said that equity is interest in assets. You know, there is a business assets, no, land, building, like there is a, this is the owners of the assets. Owners means interest. Why? There is actual assets there. They like this is the persons, no, this is the major person, this is the owner like this asset. Look here, there is 1,000 asset, no, owner's interest means owner's ownership is 700. This is the owner's identification of assets, owner's interest of assets. Why? 700 equity, meaning is out of this 1,000 he can get 700. This is the interest. This is 300, meaning is 300, meaning is out of this 1,000, 300 liability he can benefited and he can carry it to home. Therefore there's interest, they like it to carry it from the business. There's asset interest. Okay, asset interest, they like equity and liabilities. Persons like carried their assets from the business. This is the interest. There is a power. Okay, let's see. They said that interest in assets of entity after deducting all its liabilities. After deducting all liabilities, look here, 1,000 minus 300 liabilities, the remaining is here is a total interest, no, total interest. I like to asset, okay, 1,000 like. They said, two persons said that we like assets 1,000. At that time we eliminate the liability. How can we eliminate? 1,000 deduct 300. After that the remaining interest is 700. The remaining interest is for this is the asset, no, the remaining asset is 700. Remaining interest power for equity is 700. This is the after deducting the liabilities, there is a remaining balance is there. The remaining balance is equity. They define that using this. Look here, the end equity is which interest? The remaining interest. I write that remaining remaining or residual. Residual means remaining balance. Residual, the remaining interest, the ownership of the assets of the business after deducting all liabilities. Okay, next one. Liabilities and present obligation. You know what's the definition? Present obligation, to transfer, what are they? Blank, as a result of past event. What is the liability? Is a present obligation to transfer. What are we transfer to? Pay the liability? Assets, no? Assets means economic resources. Economic resources. Okay, economic resources. Next one. Income is the blank in assets. There are some changes in asset. Or blank in liabilities. There are liabilities and assets are relating to income. Okay, next one. That result in increases in equity. You know, income impacted to equity to increase. Okay, therefore income is the blank in asset or blank liabilities that result in increases in equity. You know, definitely equity must be increased based on income, other than due to the contribution for the equity holders. Other than means except due to the contribution from equity holders. Contribution from equity holders mean additional capital. Okay, there are except additional capital, there are some increases in equity is income. You know, how can we identify the income? Look here, you know, this is the equation of assets equal equity plus liabilities. You know, definitely at the income generating, there's equity must be plus. Okay, do you know the rent income? No, rent income. Okay, there's a rent income was the income, the equity was increasing. What is the other short is plus 100. This is the cash. This is asset. There is in equity is increasing. How can equity increase in? There's a other impact. No, the other impact is asset increasing. Asset increasing is based on cash. Therefore, we can fill this one answer. One answer is in asset, which increase in asset. Increase in asset. Second one, there are some incomes are generating. Look here, there is 100 income. Okay, 100 income. Based on then the liability is related. Liability decreasing. How can we identify? Look here, there is a rent income. No, rent income was generated. Why? We rent out our building to an outside party. At that time, the rent income was, this is the monthly rent income. Okay, this is generated. The reason is pre-received. Rent income was decreased. Why? The customer or the outside party prepaid was our side. No, our side pre-received rent income. There is at the receiving the rent income, we identify the liability. How can we identify? At the receiving point, we plus cash and we plus pre-received rent income. This is pre-received means this is not our. No, at that time pre-received, the previous month he sent a money as to the this month. Okay, this is This is received February. At the February, he paid some rent. The outside party paid some rent for March. At that point, the cash was received in February. At the February accounts, we identify the pre-received rent income. After the end of the February, the March was done. At the March, pre-received was eliminated. Why? At the March, this is the March rent income. No? Therefore, we deduct from pre-received income and identify the rent income. There is a income identification. What is the impact is liability decreasing. Therefore, the income identification, another type is, and the type is, what is that? Another type is decrease in liability. Okay, let's see. Decrease in liability. Okay, therefore I can write the answer. What is that? That's increase of equity and decrease in liability. Decrease in liabilities. This is the answer. This is the identification of income. Therefore, next we meet in true false. There is a statement there. We must find there is a LKS 2 question. Therefore, we meet in next video question number 41.